Okay, so if we want to use ACT to create the envelopes or the labels for our mail merge, then it's a good habit to get into to just go ahead and create those envelopes and labels while we still have the lookup that we used to create the letters. In other words, we used the lookup, we created the letters, now we perfected the letters, we printed the letters out, but we still have our lookup. And so what we do with our lookup then is we're going to go up to the menu bar, we're going to click on File, and then we're going to come down, we're going to click on Print. And you notice then that we could print address books, day calendars, week calendars, month calendars, reports. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to print labels. So if we decided we wanted to print labels, then we would have the different types of labels loaded into our system. Now ACT loads default labels, but then when you get label software, it will also integrate. So let's say I wanted to print an Avery 15160. Then what I'm going to do is click on Print, and what the system will do is say, well, did you want to do that for the current contact, for the current lookup, for all contacts? But notice that it defaults to current lookup. Now, we could make some position changes and whatnot if we need to, but chances are what we're going to do is just use our label software or just use our label paper. Now, if we have already used it once and we want to do is change the row or column, it's possible to do that. But what we're going to do then is just click on OK. And notice then that it shows us, okay, well, if you printed out the labels, this is what they would look like. And if that's okay with you, then go ahead and continue. Well, if you're like me, you can barely read that. So what we can do is click up here in the menu bar and get the zoom in tool, come back down and click on that a couple of times, and then we can expand it so that, or we can magnify it so that we can see that those labels actually look like what we want. So it's very easy to be able to check those so that we don't waste our label paper by printing out the wrong thing in the wrong place. By the same token, we can print the envelopes if we want to. If we were just sending to 3 contacts, we're probably going to use envelopes just as easy. If we're sending to 50 contacts or 500 contacts, then we might use labels, depending on what type of a mail merge that we're actually doing, whether this is a blast or whether it's just sending out some thank you letters. So we're going to click on File and then on Print. And then this time, instead of clicking on labels, we're just going to click on envelopes. And notice then that it lists all the most common envelopes. Most common being a number 10 envelope. So we'll just double click on number 10 and accept that we're going to do it for the current lookup. And notice then that it shows us a picture of what each of the envelopes is going to look like. And again, we can then expand on that to take a closer look and make sure that that's exactly what we want. So it's very easy to use ACT as a tool to get the whole job done, and it's very important to keep in contact with people. And over the years, the way that we've kept in contact with people has changed quite a bit. In other words, it used to be that a lot of people would write handwritten thank you notes. Now handwritten thank you notes are a luxury. If you have time to do that, it's still a great idea, but typically, people are sending either a thank you note or a thank you letter through the mail that's computer generated, like the ones we've been looking at, or even sending an email. And of course, it's possible to integrate ACT with your email software, and that's what we're going to talk about in our next section.